SpaceX just filed with the FCC for Starship Flight 12, and the timeline they revealed is shocking. Despite the B18 explosion at Massey site, the company is targeting a launch window starting January 23, 2026, just 2 months behind schedule. Even more surprising, Booster 19 is being fast-tracked for stacking in December. How is this even possible after losing a booster? Flight 12 will be the first to fly the new Block 3 design with 33 Raptor 3 engines, each delivering 20% more thrust than Raptor 2. What secret advantage does SpaceX have that lets them recover this fast? Let's start with what actually happened. On November 24, 2025, SpaceX submitted a special temporary authority request to the FCC to use radio frequencies for Starship Flight 12. The filing revealed an operational window from January 23 to June 28, 2026, meaning Flight 12 cannot launch before late January. But why would SpaceX file for a 6-month window if they're confident about hitting that January date? The answer reveals how SpaceX thinks about risk management. If they only requested authorization through March and something happened in February, like a booster failure during static fire, the FAA would pause everything for investigation. The launch would slip to May, the authorization would expire, and SpaceX would need to reapply and wait all over again. By securing a 6-month window up front, they avoid that administrative nightmare. This isn't pessimism, it's strategic planning. According to SpaceX's VP of Launch, Kiko Donchev, the target remains January 2026. Even after losing B18, SpaceX is only looking at a 2-month slip at most. The company confirmed that Booster 19 is being fast-tracked, and we're already in late November. Finishing the vehicle might take 3 months maximum, including stacking the remaining sections, running cryogenic tests, installing the grid fins, mounting all 33 engines, and completing the static fire test. If everything holds together, B19 could be ready to fly by late February or early March 2026. So how is SpaceX maintaining this aggressive timeline? The FCC filing isn't the only document SpaceX submitted. They also filed a space transfer authorization request with the FAA, and the timeline matches perfectly. This STA is mandatory before the FAA's Office of Commercial Space Transportation can issue a launch license. The authorization allows the Super Heavy booster to return to the launch site in Starbase, Texas, and permits Starship to either splash down or return to the pad. Without this document, the flight simply cannot happen. This dual filing strategy shows SpaceX is covering all regulatory bases simultaneously rather than waiting for sequential approvals. The communication requirements reveal something crucial about Flight 12. Even though Starship has been streaming full HD footage through Starlink since Flight 5, SpaceX still isn't allowed to use Starlink as the primary channel for critical flight data. They need traditional S-band and X-band frequencies for primary telemetry like velocity, pressure, temperature, and engine status. These are the same frequencies that the U.S. Air Force and NASA have trusted for decades. Command uplink from the ground and radar tracking data all flow through these classic bands. So, no matter how impressive the Starlink camera system performs, SpaceX must maintain these traditional communication channels to ensure they can respond if anything goes wrong during flight. The filing also notes that both stages could either return to the launch site or perform a water landing. While the wording leaves both options open, a splashdown remains the more likely choice for this mission. Flight 12 marks the very first test run of the Block 3 design, bringing a whole new set of technical and operational challenges. A splashdown gives SpaceX plenty of margin to safely evaluate all the new V3 upgrades while reducing risk during recovery. They can push the envelope on performance without betting everything on a perfect tower catch. But what exactly makes Block 3 so revolutionary? The V3 booster features 3 critical upgrades that fundamentally change its capabilities. The grid fin system now uses 3 larger fins instead of 4, reducing weight by roughly 10 to 15% while optimizing for a higher angle of attack during the glide-back phase. These new grid fins are 50% larger, and they're mounted inside the methane tank compartment. The top fin is completely removed because of limited airflow in that position, which improves stability and prepares the booster for catching with the chopsticks on the launch tower. All 33 engines are Raptor 3s, each delivering 280 tons of thrust. That's 20% more than Raptor 2, with lighter dry mass and fewer thermal shields. Flight 12 will test simultaneous ignition of all 33 engines, electronic thrust vector control, and landing burns using 5 engines instead of 3. Those 2 extra engines provide redundancy and finer control during the final descent, giving SpaceX more precise touchdown control. The booster itself is also taller, with 1.5 meters added to the tank height, increasing fuel capacity by 25%. This isn't just about carrying more propellant. It's about mission flexibility and extended flight duration. The fuel transfer system received a complete redesign at Falcon 9 scale. This tube channels cryogenic propellant efficiently to all 33 engines, with vacuum-jacketed insulation and an improved feed line system. SpaceX expects this to save 10 to 15% of fuel by reducing losses and enabling faster flip maneuvers. These upgrades don't just boost performance, they demonstrate the booster's capability for rapid reusability across consecutive missions. Can this new design really handle the stress of multiple flights in quick succession? Ship 39, the upper stage for Flight 12, faces its own set of challenges. This vehicle needs to prove that the V3 design can reach low Earth orbit successfully and maintain orbit long enough to test re-entry with the new heat shield tiles. The tail section has shed most of its thermal protection because the Raptor 3 engines run cooler than previous versions. Less heat means fewer tiles, which means less weight and better performance margins. One of the key goals for Ship 39 is relighting Raptor engines in space. SpaceX successfully relit Raptor 2 engines during previous flights, but Raptor 3 operates at higher performance levels. Demonstrating in-space engine relights is critical for orbital maneuvering and sets the foundation for in-orbit propellant transfer. That full-scale refueling test is planned for summer 2026 with a dedicated tanker vehicle. Ship 39 also integrates docking ports and quick disconnects for refueling, moving SpaceX closer to lunar landing capability. Without successful engine relights, the entire refueling architecture falls apart. Flight 12 doesn't just validate the reliability of Block 3, it lays the groundwork for Starship as a truly versatile vehicle capable of supporting rapid reusability and potentially reaching 100 flights per year. But getting there requires overcoming serious challenges that the B18 incident exposed. The B18 explosion shifted all the milestones that came after it. At the current pace, fully recovering that schedule seems difficult. Vehicle readiness remains a critical concern. SpaceX just finished stacking Starship 39, and B19 won't be ready until December. Components like the nose cone are already at the Star factory, but it's unclear whether all the other parts needed for assembly are on hand. The booster hardware is particularly uncertain, and it needs to be completed at least a month before launch to undergo proper testing. Launch infrastructure readiness plays an equally crucial role. Right now, there's limited evidence SpaceX can maintain the pace necessary to begin refueling operations by June 2026. Following recent missions, SpaceX needs enough prototypes to support the refueling system, which means building multiple starships and boosters simultaneously while also upgrading ground systems. The complexity is staggering, and any single failure point can cascade into major delays. These delays carry broader implications for lunar missions. SpaceX is racing Blue Origin to return humans to the moon's surface for the first time in over 50 years. Blue Origin has shown measurable progress with New Glenn and their lunar lander, while SpaceX's timeline appears to be slipping. Recent reports point to a potential goal of 2028 for their lunar mission. Any delay in refueling will inevitably push back subsequent mission milestones, increasing pressure on SpaceX to accelerate both production and testing. The question isn't whether SpaceX can recover, it's whether they can recover fast enough to stay ahead in this new space race. Yet breakthroughs remain possible. SpaceX could combine multiple objectives in a single mission, attempting orbital refueling while deploying payloads to save time. The company also has demonstrated capacity to scale up production quickly when needed. While the current situation is demanding, SpaceX's track record shows that innovation and adaptation can overcome significant obstacles. When Flight 12 finally lifts off, we'll witness the first liftoff from Launch Pad 2, the first flight of Starship Block 3, and the first time we see Raptor 3 engines in action during an actual mission. This isn't just about getting off the ground, it's about proving that SpaceX can build a fully reusable system capable of transforming space access. So here's what we know for certain. SpaceX filed for Flight 12 with a launch window starting January 23, 2026, just 2 months after the B18 incident. Booster 19 is being fast-tracked for stacking in December, and if everything holds, we could see the first Block 3 Starship fly by late February or early March. This mission will test 33 Raptor 3 engines, new grid fins, a taller fuel tank, and in-space engine relights that are critical for orbital refueling. The stakes couldn't be higher because delays in refueling push back lunar missions, and Blue Origin is making real progress with New Glenn. The contrast with Boeing's Starliner is striking. While SpaceX prepares for their 12th Starship flight, Boeing just reduced their contract from 6 crewed missions to 4, with 2 being optional. Starliner 1, targeted for April 2026, will be cargo only. That's the difference between moving forward and standing still. Flight 12 isn't just another test, it's the foundation for everything SpaceX wants to achieve with rapid reusability and 100 flights per year. Will they hit that January window, or will delays push it further? What's your prediction for the launch date? Drop your answer in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on every development leading up to Flight 12, subscribe to New Space Review and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Like this video if you're excited to see Raptor 3 in action, and share it with anyone who needs to understand why this mission matters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.